So, welcome back. We're here today and we're going to talk about what's going on in the market. I feel like it's been a little bit of time that I haven't updated you guys with the watch market. And since things have been kind of quiet, I kind of don't want to, you know, repeatedly beat the horse down about the same topic. But I think quite some time has passed where I think it's safe for me to give a little bit more of my opinion about the way that I feel the market, especially right now that we're in the first part of the summer of 2023. The summertime is that time of year where sales kind of slow down, at least in this industry. You know, yes, there's always the possibility that somebody's traveling and on a vacation and they're excited and they want to buy a watch. But what it seems to be more than ever is more that people are more concerned about planning their trips, taking their families out. A lot of times maybe they want to sell some watches so that way they can finance, or maybe we'll say offset the paying or the cost for one of these vacations, whether they're going to spend it in Europe or, you know, they're going to travel around the States or they're doing the Caribbean or whatnot. It doesn't really matter where you're going, but the idea is that clearly in the summer, people seem to take more trips and travel, haul their whole families with them. And if you're single, probably like go balls to the wall and go crazy. So a lot of times they want to free up some money. I yet haven't reached that point in my life. In the summertime, I'm always thinking about what watch I am going to wear. But then again, I guess I'm a whole different breed of collector. Yes, I am a collector, not only a seller, a reseller, a gray market, whatever you want to call it, but mostly above all, I am a collector. So I would say that right now, if I wanted to sum it up before I even get into any specifics, everybody's been asking me, how do you see the market right now? Eric, what do you think about the market? And what I've been thinking right now and already for the past 2 months is that if the market stayed exactly where it is right now and it didn't even move at all, ever again, I wouldn't be mad. I'd be okay with it. I think that right now the market is at a good place. I feel that the prices are still strong, fortunately and unfortunately, because, you know, there are pieces that everybody out there wants to get at a cheaper price, but the prices are not there. There's watches myself that I would like to get and would prefer to pay less for. But I feel that right now prices are sustainable. You know, they're still over retail. They're still strong. However, they're not crazy. You know, we're not at $55,000 to $60,000 for a Panda Daytona no more. I would say right now we're at we're in the 30s, we'll say, because that Panda was especially one of those pieces that slided around in some prices where you would probably be paying $35,000 to $38,000 for a brand new, fresh, recently dated Panda Daytona, where actually the prices went down a couple G's. Not a crazy amount of fluctuation, just a little bit. But it's so strange because in that same week or two that, for example, that Panda Daytona creeped down a couple G's, then you have a watch like a Pepsi GMT Jubilee. I was trying to fill some orders in, couldn't find them, and they actually went up 2,000. So it's a little strange how some pieces are in demand, some are not. Then the following week they switch, but I also do feel that that's a bit more sustainable as opposed to this thing in the past where every watch is just getting exponential gains. You know, I think long term that's not the way to go. So yeah. My answer is, if it could stay like this, I would not complain. I think there's a good amount of people still trying to buy watches, and there's a healthy amount of people still selling watches. And there's still a somewhat amount of people that are getting watches at the AD and flipping them. However, I do feel that the ones right now in this market that are feeling the pressure most, although they may not want to admit it, are the salespeople at the ADs. Yes, they're calling people. They're trying to dump watches. I see some of the ADs trying to dump a particular model. Of course, guys, I'm talking about Rolex for right now, just because, you know, Rolex is kind of like that indicator, you know, the gold standard of the watch market. You know, everything else kind of follows a little bit behind it, like so. But, you know, I see the same watch getting shopped around to 4 or 5 different clients in a local area, and by chance they all offer it to me. It's like, hey, are you buying this? No. The next guy will call me, hey, are you buying this? And it's almost like I know they're having trouble to unload these watches. You know, hey, man, anybody can sell a watch at retail at an AD, and then, have the buyer know that there's an advantage there's a possibility for the watch to go up and gain some prices. Everybody wants to snag it on your wrist. When you're really selling watches in the gray market, it's a little bit different. But right now, they are definitely feeling that because a lot of these pieces that they're selling, clients are either losing the taxes or some of these white gold models, like the subs and stuff like that, they're not over retail. You're going to be probably taking a $5,000-$6,000 hit when you walk out the door. I don't think that really even matters. Why not? If you can buy the watch at retail and you like it, just buy the damn watch. If you want to buy it at the gray market for retail or maybe below, then do that too. It really doesn't matter to me. I think now is when we're going to start, really seeing the people that are about this life and don't mind still buying stuff at retail and losing the money. I also think it might be a good opportunity to maybe penetrate that retail market at the AD because since they got so many people that are dropping out of the race, then maybe might be the time to start building up that rapport. If any of you have been on the waiting list for a Panda Daytona 116-500 and you've been waiting 5-6 years, guess what? You're not going to get it because now we have the 126-500. So it's a total different model. So you might want to go back over there and put your name on the list now for the new model. I'm under the impression it doesn't work like that. It's not like, oh, you're on the list for one. Oh, we have a new model. Let's just roll you on to the new one. I don't think it works like that. I think if you don't go over there and put your name for the new one, it's just not going to happen. Now, before I continue with these Rolex models, I want to remind you, hit the link right now to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on anything. And don't forget, hit that damn link. Now, there's a lot of models right now that are not over retail and people are surprised, like these day dates, some of these Daytonas as well. There's a lot of these white gold Daytonas with these ugly dials. Okay, fine. They're not ugly, but maybe not desirable. They're not really getting great money. A simple watch, for example, like a yellow gold, Daytona on Oyster Flex with that yellow dial. Again, nothing really to stand out. Not that. It's still a great watch, okay? And it's still an amazing watch. The problem is a lot of people that bought these watches were hoping that they were going to double their money, and we are clearly not there anymore. So I think other than that, there's a lot of great models out there that are not in the hype, like all the older subs, maybe the previous ceramic subs. I think models like that are still easy to get, and you're not paying these crazy premiums. And, I think it's a very safe buy for those models. Also, different models like Datejust. Right now, I think the prices have simmered down a lot. Another watch you can buy, Submariner green bezel. Those were kind of hot. They have cooled down a little bit, but not by a lot. One of the pieces that I've been waiting a while to say this, and I'm a little bit mindful about this, is ever since that drop down of the prices and the whole restabilization of the market, I find it kind of hard to believe, but clearly it's going on, so I believe it, that the Day 2 has finally fallen behind in pricing than the Day 40. Hard to think that there's so much more Day 40s out there in circulation than the Day 2, but yet the Day 2 has massively fallen behind the 40. And yeah, I can't believe it. I don't know why. I'm not really sure what is it that has caused that. Maybe everybody has just adapted the size of the 40 millimeter and they think that is the correct size, which at this point, it don't matter what you have. I, for one, have kind of seemed to really like that 40 millimeter, I still have a couple of Day 2s just like this one right now that I'm wearing, and I love this watch. But one of the things I like about this one in particular is that this dial combination is not available in the 40. So it kind of makes it like special-ish, It's obviously special, but it makes it completely different. You're not going to confuse it. But I would say that if you want to buy a Day 2, right now might be the time to pick up a Day 2 because they're actually below the 40. So now to round up the whole Rolex part of the market, I would say that one of my favorite watches that's cracking me up right now with this, it's just, it's just entertaining at times, is that new Deep Sea, okay? We're not talking about a James Cameron dial. It's the black on black. What is it? The 136660? I think that's what it is, yeah. Oh man, people are trying to sell these watches and they're telling me, yeah, I want 17,000. I'm like, absolutely not. Those watches were never great sellers. They never have been. The only time they were great sellers was when the Deep Sea first came out. And at that time, watches were under retail, but that one would sell at retail. And when they're quite surprised to hear that, the offers for that watch ends up being less than retail, and they're like disappointed. And it's got to be like, people, it's a Deep Sea. Right now, I feel like those watches are feeling very big. People are not buying them. But anyways, hit the link and subscribe. Let's talk about AP. AP actually has simmered down a lot on that Royal Oak. I mean, those prices have finally come down to a realistic area, especially with those 50th anniversaries. I feel that right now, some of those pieces, the difference between the non-50th and the 50th anniversary is maybe $2,000 to $5,000. I mean, it's not like a crazy difference amount. I mean, it's hard to believe, but it is the truth that, those APs at one point were in the mid 70s for a basic, for a basic 15,500, which for me was just absurd. As much as I like the look of that watch, I just never really saw the actual value in a basic AP like that being that much. Even for me, gray market, a lot of you guys will sit there and say, well, you guys sell watches over retail. Yeah, well, I don't dictate the prices, but I can have an opinion about what I feel about what you're getting versus the value. I would personally rather pay $100,000 for a John Mayer Daytona yellow and green than $70,000 for one of those APs. But then again, at that moment when the APs were 70 plus, the John Mayer was 150. So I'd probably just cancel out that theory. But anyways, I would say right now, the offshores have also simmered down a little bit too. Again, obviously what I'm saying through this whole video is that prices have simmered down. But most importantly is that they haven't continued to go down, because there's already been quite some time that we know this. It's already been quite some time that we know this, that they have simmered down. But I think the most important part is that right now, the watches are at a very stable pace. I feel that things are rising very slow and very specific. And right now, by the end of this summer, I think it's when we'll really be able to see, what is the real state of the market for the rest of the year. Because at the end of the summer, right around Labor Day, we'll really know where we're at. Usually, the end of the year with the holidays, we'll get a little bit of a rise. But I'd like to see where things end up. Patek, I haven't really seen much of a change. I feel like wherever they've been already for a while, that's where they stayed. And for once, I would say that the last 6 months, I kind of feel that things feel a little bit more normal. And normal means pre-2017, where prices were kind of an area. I used to sell watches where a price of a sub would be the same price the whole year. They'd maybe go up $500 to $1,000 during the holiday season, but none of this like drastic prices going all over the place. So I would say right now that the market is exactly where I would like for it to be, sustainable. And to me, that is the most important thing. If you feel otherwise, then I don't know, hit the link and let me know why, but I really don't think so. I feel like right now, this is where we want to be. And if anybody wants to buy a watch, I think right now, maybe the price might not be in your budget, but I really don't foresee you waiting much longer for them to go down, because it just hasn't happened. If you want to perhaps wait and see what happens, yeah, that could work. But I'd also say that the summertime could also be a good moment to pick up watches at a good price. So until next time, we'll wait and see where everything settles at the end of the summer. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe link right now.